Hello, beautiful people. So I was supposed to do this video, which is a 2016 recap. I was supposed to do it in the last week of December, and the Hashimara trip and the editing of the vlog and the haul and New Year celebration, it all just snowballed, and here we are in the middle of Jan doing a 2016 recap. A lot of people thought that 2016 was a very crappy year, but I personally had a great year. A lot of the big decisions or the events in my life happened in 2016, and I thought I would just share them with you. So here we go. Let's start with Jan 2016. The first cool thing that happened in Jan 2016 was that we bought a motorcycle. Not just any motorcycle, we bought the Triumph Bonwit. So my husband has been dreaming of this motorcycle for the past so many years, and since 2016 was actually our 5th anniversary, we thought we'd make it a little special. So we actually, on our anniversary, traveled to Bombay to pick up the bike and then rode it back. So it was indeed a special celebration. The second cool thing that happened in Jan last year was that I attended Type Camp. I attended the Delhi edition of Type Camp Bharat, which is a 2-day workshop for type geeks. So basically graphic designers and artists who are interested in typography and hand lettering. This camp is to orient them to the different techniques of hand lettering and the different possibilities that the hand lettering can have. And I had a blast, and I'm actually bummed that I'm not able to attend Type Camp this year. Anyway, the third cool thing from Jan last year was that a bunch of friends, all of us, took a 4-day trip to a place called Darjeeling. So it's a small town on the western coastline of India in Konkan, and it's known for its pristine beaches. Really, the beaches are the cleanest beaches that I have ever seen in India. The sand is clean, it's soft, the water is clear, it's blue, you can see for like 10-15 feet below the water. Tarkali is also known for its live coral, and we actually saw dolphins when we went on a boat ride. So you guys must visit Tarkali. So Feb was pretty uneventful. The only big decision that happened in Feb was that I decided to quit my job. So I had been with this design studio for almost 2 or 3 years, and I felt it was time to move on. And that's in Feb, I basically decided, and I let them know that I would be quitting at the end of March. Moving on to March 2016. The first cool thing from March 2016 was that our group of friends, we decided to do a small bike ride of about 100 kilometers around the scenic route in around Nashik. And we ended up doing a staycation at one of the premier hotels in the town, and that weekend we had a lot of fun. And the second decision, or the second event, was that I quit my job. So the founders actually told me that because I was quitting, and I was design director, and because I was quitting, they actually decided to shut down the entire graphic design department. So all the employees were placed with other agencies, and we ended up throwing the department a great big party to say farewell. So it was a tough decision, but it was a much needed one. So that was March. In April, I conducted 2 art and craft camps for kids aged 5 and 13. I've always really liked doing art and craft, even as a kid. And it was fun to, go back to that and interact with the children. And I had a great time, getting back to something that I think, I lost touch with. So that was fun. And I started exercising again. So I have been a national level athlete, and I've been exercising on and off throughout the years. I exercised before or during my pregnancy. I exercised after I had my baby. But in the past 2 years, because of my work and the pressure, I just didn't have the time or the energy for exercise. And once I decided to quit my job, I decided to focus on exercise again. And in April, I finally started exercising again. May 2016, the first cool thing from May 2016 was that I watched the Indian adaptation of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. It was playing in Mumbai. And I loved it. The Indian artists did a fabulous job with the singing and the performance. And having watched musicals in New York and London, I think that we were not maybe as good, but we are definitely getting there. And to see this production in your own country, and and the fact that they did create that Disney magical experience, I was like the happiest kid on the block. I saw it with my parents and my 80-year-old grandmother, and all of us are like ardent Disney fans, and we saw it on Mother's Day, so it was a very special evening for us. The second cool thing from me is also from this show. I actually saw Madhuri Dixit in person. She was sitting like 4 seats away from my family. She was with her family, her kids, and she was watching the show. And I have worshipped her since I was a child. And to actually see her in person was like one of my dreams come true. Unfortunately, she didn't let me take a picture with her, which kind of made me sad. But yeah, I mean, I think she's one of the most beautiful and one of the most talented and graceful, elegant Bollywood actresses till date. And to see her was, I think it just made me very happy. The third cool thing from May 2016 was that my son, myself, my parents, my sister, and her kids, we took like a small 1 day trip to a small resort on the outskirts of Nashik, and we spent the day there playing cricket and hopscotch and hide and seek and cards. And in the late afternoon, we kind of trekked up a small hillock next to the resort, and the kids were just running around. The views were spectacular, and it was such a great time with the families. We kind of made memories, I think, that are definitely going to last us a lifetime. So that was one very special day in May. June 2016. June 2016, my son started school, and he actually started school at my old alma mater where I went to school, and I couldn't have been happier. Of course, the campus has changed, the teachers have changed, but some of my teachers are still there. Some of the admin staff that was in the school when I was in school is still around. Some of the support staff is still around, and I passed out from school as a head girl, so I was pretty popular. And they know me, and now they know my son, and it just makes me feel very warm inside. The second cool thing was that we went mango picking in our farm. So my father has a small farm on the outskirts of Nashik, and he has like a handful of mango trees, and they were laden with fruit. And we actually went twice. So those are the two cool things that happened in June. We actually went mango picking. We did the harvest. We pulled down the mangoes. So we had like baskets of fruit, and we had like a mini picnic both times, and it was great. Felt like the typical summer holiday afternoon with your family. And the next awesome thing from June is that I started my Kathak classes again. So I trained in the Indian dance form, classical dance form of Kathak when I was in school. So I trained for about 10 or 12 years. I have given several exams. I actually had a scholarship from the Cultural Ministry of India for my performance in Kathak. And I unfortunately, with my sports and my Kathak and school and everything got too much, and I ended up quitting Kathak in 8th grade. And I've attempted a couple of times to go back, but I've never been able to stick it out because of some reason. And now I am definitely going to stick it out. So July 2016, my husband and I took like a weekend trip to celebrate his birthday. We left on Saturday and came back on Sunday, and it was crazy. It was pouring, and we were on the bike. So we biked for 6 hours in the rain to the resort, spent the day there. Next day after breakfast, we again put on all our gear and rode back 6 hours in the rain. It was not the greatest trip, but we really wanted to go on the bike, and we wanted to do something different to celebrate his birthday. Well, I guess it's going to stick in our memories for the rest of our lives. My son turned 3, and one of my fondest memories from his birthday is that the table is all laid out with the cake and the goodies, and his friends have all gathered, and we're about to cut his cake. And he looks up at me and says, "I'm not going to eat the cake." So I'm like, okay, fine, you just cut it. Everyone else is dying to eat that cake. So he turned 3. I can't believe he turned 3. I started freelance. I started taking up graphic design projects on a freelancer basis, and I started my first project in July. So that was a big milestone for me. And the fourth cool thing from July is our group of friends took a 3-day trip to the city of Lonavala, which is like a small hill station between Pune and Mumbai. And we took a 3-day trip. There were 10 adults, 8 kids, 5 cars for 3 days, and it was crazy. It was raining. We stayed at a very small, cute property where we rented a villa and a couple of cottages, and we had a great time. So July 2016 was pretty awesome. August 2016 experienced one of the worst floods in Nashik has ever seen. So there were parts of the city where the water was waist high. There were parts of the city where the water was knee high. There are a couple of bridges on the river Godavari which runs through our city, and all those bridges were about 6 to 8 inches below water. It was only for about 6 to 8 hours, but life in the city actually came to standstill. What do you do when you have knee deep water on the roads? Even the lane in front of my house had like ankle high or calf high water, and it was like that for 2 days. My husband's office had about 10 to 12 inches of water, which took about a day for us to pump out. So that was one of the biggest things in August. My cousin brother, the youngest in our clan, flew to the US for his masters, and we all miss him. So it's already been about 6 months that he's been there. So that was the second thing in August. We bought a new car. So we bought the Honda Jazz, and it's my father-in-law's birthday in the month of August. So we actually had it delivered on his birthday as a surprise for him. So that happened in August. I attended a cool Zentangle session with one certified Zentangle teacher who happened to be visiting Nashik. So that's something I haven't explored much yet, but I have been fascinated with the art of Zentangling, and I've been debating on how to go about it, but this introductory session was a great start. And one of the last things from August was that Raghav has this scooter, which is like the one where 1 foot on the scooter and the second foot you're kind of pushing yourself off the ground. And he got it for his birthday in July, but it took him about the rest of July and August to figure out how to actually ride that. And once he figured it out, he's been zooming around on the playground, and it's a lovely sight to see him do that. So August 2016, it was great. September 2016, I started a blog. Yet again, this must be my third or fourth attempt at blogging, but I'm pretty serious this time. I'm going to leave the link in the description box below, so please check it out and let me know what you think. So yeah, I started a blog. I started my second freelance project. I turned 30. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. So we also had our annual Gauri Ganpati festival. It is a big deal in our house because we have the Ganesh Thapana, then we have the Gauri Pujan, we have all the decoration for all of it, and we do everything at home. We have the puja, we have people coming over for darshan. So it's a pretty hectic week for us, about 8 or 10 days. I traveled to Delhi to visit my sister with my son. It was his first flight ever, and it was the first time that I was traveling with him just by myself. And it was a great week that we spent in Delhi with my sister and her family. And yeah, and I started a YouTube channel. So that happened in September. Uh, yeah, September was pretty awesome. Moving on, October, I celebrated the Navratri festival with a twist. So I did a social media campaign for a local sari brand where I showcased the 9 or 10 different colors that we are supposed to wear every day for the Navratri. So I wore saris by that brand for their social media campaign. We did a photo shoot. It was pretty awesome. You can check out the pictures on my Instagram. If you are not following me yet, please follow me on Snapchat and Instagram because that's where you see the behind the scenes and my daily stuff. I also donated all my fees from that modeling assignment to a local NGO called Gharkul Parivar Sanstha. It is an NGO for mentally challenged women, and I every year do some campaign or some assignment or some project, and the funds from that project I donate to this NGO. I will definitely do a video on that maybe later. Yeah, and it was the first Diwali that I spent with my sister being in another town and my cousin brother being in another town in another country. So, yeah, apart from my years in New York where I was away from everything, this was the first time that I was with the family and they are not. So, it was kind of bittersweet. And yeah, November 2016. So, Raghav started enjoying school, which was a big relief because he had not enjoyed his play school days at all. So I was very happy when he actually started enjoying school. He discovered the joy of coloring. So he'd been scribbling all these months. He didn't really understand the concept of coloring within the lines or the composition or the choice of colors. But I can see, like, from his coloring books, the first couple of pages are full of scribbles, and the last couple of pages are like not neat, but you can make sense of his coloring, and he enjoys this activity. It's pretty much what he wants to do in his free time. So I was really happy about that. He started an evening activity class. It's so that he can interact with and play with kids his own age, because our society has a lot of kids, but they're older, and he kind of gets lost because he doesn't really understand the rules of their games and can't keep up with them. So this activity class kind of helps him play with kids his own age, and it also gives my mother-in-law like 2 hours of relief from him, because obviously I'm at work. November. Yeah, Raga started drawing monsters. Like, if you are following me on my other accounts, you've probably seen this because I have like obsessed with his drawing of monsters. So he draws like a circle and he puts eyes, like circle eyes in them, and he draws a smiley. He draws two arms coming out of that circle from the head. He draws two legs dropping down from the head, and he draws like one hair that's sticking out, and he says, "Mama, look, monster." So yeah, that's been pretty interesting. And I attended another workshop on hand lettering, this time in Mumbai, and in the month of November. We're talking about November. So yeah, I did that workshop in last week of November, and I actually vlogged about it. So I'm gonna link it. Go check that vlog as well. And finally, we come to December of 2016. So December 2016 was pretty hectic. First of all, Raghav got famous as the boy who rolled in mud. So he loves to play in the mud with his JCBs and his dump trucks. He just loved collecting mud and then emptying it, and in general playing in mud. So we were at a construction site, and there was this huge pile of reti, or the sand that they use for construction. And I'm looking around for Raghav, and one of the guys says, "Is that your son over there?" And I look, and Raghav is face down in that pile of mud, like he's really rolling in mud, and he looked like he was, enjoying it, and everyone like was laughing their guts out at the simplicity and the innocence of Raghav. And yeah, he became famous for the boy who rolled in mud. He got his first black eye. Okay, he is a bundle of mischief, and he and his friends were just jumping around, and I think someone hit him with his head in their musty, and he had like a big bruise under his eye. So Yeah, that was his first black eye. His drawings have become more complex. He actually drew on his small chalkboard like four monsters, and he drew like what resembled a tree in between those four monsters and a circle, and one monster was reaching out for the circle, and he says to me, Mama, look, this is Shaunak, Sonali auntie, Gargi and Raghav, and Shaunak is picking an apple. And I was floored at his imagination and his ability to actually draw that. I've taken a picture, and I know I'm definitely going to kind of frame it and put it in my house somewhere. I set up my design studio. So finally I have my own design studio where I'm starting my design projects. I um, completed 3 freelance projects already, so that made me decide that okay, now I need to officially set that up. Then I traveled to Hashimara to visit my sister again. Like I said, the vlog is up, the Funchling Hall is up. Go check that out. We traveled for 4 days, 15 hours of journey to Hashimara and 15 hours of journey to Nashik back from Hashimara, and about 4 days there. So it was a pretty hectic trip, but we did have a lot of fun. Also during that trip, I had a butterfly come and sit on my bag. So we were at a monastery in Funchling, and I was just filming with my phone, and I see a butterfly. So I thought, oh, let's follow the butterfly. And before I could follow the butterfly came and sat on my sling, and I was like, there's a butterfly on my bag, and it sat for almost like a minute. Unfortunately, the video is deleted, but I do have a picture. So yeah, that was one of my highlights from the trip and from December and from 2016. And last but not the least, I had a fabulous New Year's Eve at a farmhouse of one of my husband's school friends. We were about 8 or 10 couples with kids, and we had a barbecue, and we had potluck, and we had a bonfire, and it was pretty awesome. We ended up coming home at around 3 in the morning, and thank God New Year's Eve was on a Saturday and that 1st of Jan was a Sunday, so that allowed us to kind of sleep in and recover from all the celebrations. So that's how my 2016 was, and it was a pretty great year. It was a pretty great year. So I hope 2017 is equally great. This video, the article for this video is up on my blog. The link is in the description box. Go check out my blog, read, tell me what you think. Like this video, comment below and tell me how your 2016 was. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video really soon. Bye.